elaboration on the meatloaf saying this week, SU fans. 1 out of 3 ain't bad, unless you're a fan of the Orange and you don't like the Hoyas. We did get back on track last week, but the truth is, we had 3 games in about 6 nights, Orange fans. First, it was our big rivals, the Hoyas at Georgetown, coming to the Dome. You know how it always is whenever Georgetown and Syracuse collide. You expect a big crowd in the Dome. You expect a rowdy atmosphere. And you expect 2 longtime rivals to go tooth and nail at one another. And that's what it was for the majority of the game. Boy, it was a hard-fought battle against Georgetown. But I just wonder, did Rick Jackson take my comments last week to heart? Heck, he had been producing those double-doubles consistently all year. So much so, he probably might have packed back on a few of the pounds had he gone to Sonic and had a double-double. Well, you know, when Rick Jackson doesn't get a double-double, what happens? Syracuse usually loses. And right at the end of that game, what happens? Georgetown hits some clear shots and goes through the 2-3 zone, who had some breakdowns right at the most inopportune time, especially the basket there by Freeman. And what happens? A thing that's almost sacrilegious. The Orange lose to Georgetown on the Orange's home court. That is sacrilegious to say the least. But I'm not going to go out and sacrifice somebody, you know. As a matter of fact, I got a knife in my home. I'm going to almost look for a picture of Georgetown. Go like this. Maybe that'll help us when we play the Hoyas in our return game coming up. Well, whatever. A deflating loss to the Hoyas. And then a few days later, we travel down to Louisville, down to the Yum Center. Boy, what a name for a place to play. The Yum Center, to play a team that seems to have SU's number. The Louisville Cardinals are 12-4 against the Orange, and now after this game are 13-4 against the Orange. I just wonder, how come Syracuse falls behind 20 points and then comes roaring back? Well, whatever. We gotta play Louisville a little better. We just can't seem to beat Rick Pitino this time. Of course, we could beat Rick Pitino when he was the coach of Providence, including that Final Four victory back in '87. And of course, kudos to Boeheim for correcting that journalist, because the journalist seems to have a short memory, or maybe he was born yesterday, because they said, how come you're 0-6 against Pitino? And boy, did Boeheim let him have it. Boeheim, you always are a class act. Even if you tell them, when we had Jerry McNamara, we wouldn't have won one game that time. Mr. Boeheim, you have a way with the media. But you know, Bobby Knight definitely had a way with the media, but he wasn't the class act that you are, Mr. Boeheim. Good job. Good job correcting that guy. Even if we can't beat Louisville, we gotta get that monkey off our back somehow. Another deflating 73-69 loss to a team we just can't seem to solve. And after this 2-game losing streak, and after losing 3 straight on our home court, which definitely is sacrilegious, we come back down to play West Virginia last night in the Dome. Of course, our comeback against Louisville was a little too little. It was a little too late. And just like Pat Benatar said, there's only so much of that I can take. But then we fall behind by 4 points at halftime to the Mountaineers. But Syracuse regrouped itself and showed the guile that can show, even if Fab Mello is now on the bench and we only played other guys sparingly like Dion Waiters and Cada. Thing is, we got to have a little depth now, Orange, as we're heading towards the Big East Tournament and the NCAA. We got to develop guys like Sutherland to get him back into the groove, get Mookie Jones back into the groove, who's been so far a big disappointment in his days at the Orange. Maybe see if Mello can contribute off the bench a little bit. We got to have a little depth. Even if we did beat West Virginia 63-52 last night in a clutch win to avoid for the first time ever under Boeheim losing 4 straight at home. That definitely would have been sacrilegious had that happened. I'm not going to do what my father did when he was in his garage, sacrifice a pine board. I might just sacrifice something else. Maybe one of my shirts. Boy, I'm not going to get a cross too, or maybe get garlic. Well, we got 1 out of 3 wins. And as we got 4 games left in the regular season, I'm going to take a quick look. We got 2 of them coming up this week. Saturday in the Dome against Rutgers. That is a should win, and I hope we win. And then Monday against Villanova, down on Villanova's home court, a place that Villanova rarely loses. Well, thing is, let's hope we can get 1 victory, which we should, but to beat Villanova on their home court would definitely be sweet. Let's take a look, Orange fans. Let's look and see if we can get 2 victories this week and get this rolling as we get toward the Big East Tournament and the NCAAs. It's in the home stretch. Let's crack the whip. I'm Ken Haas. That's my story this week. And let's go, Orange. Beat the Scarlet Knights and beat the Wildcats.